Hey, what's up, everybody? Ryan here. This is Fitness for Everybody. So, I'm going to kind of walk everybody down the journey of losing 30 pounds over the last year. Get a lot of questions on it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys it's magic or anything like that. A lot of it really just comes down to self-discipline and a motivation to want to lose weight like that. Just to give you an idea of what it could look like, though, if you find yourself really motivated to lose, kind of those pounds around the core. As somebody who lives in the upper Midwest, obviously we got it's not exactly the slimmest of regions throughout the United States. So we do like our beer and our cheese and our red meats around here. So diet's going to be a big part of it. Before we get into the details, though, I'll just show you. Like, I bought these shorts like shortly before I decided that this was something that I wanted to really focus on, was slimming up the waist area. As you can see, can't even wear them anymore. Really only put them on is kind of a representation of what most of my pants look like. So this summer, I am due to go do the little short shopping myself because none of them fit anymore, which is the downside of losing weight. You know, when you go through some changes in your physical side of things, in your body, like, you're probably going to have to buy some new clothes, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, I'm sure there are people out there who want an excuse to go out there and buy some new clothes as well. Anyway, for those of you who might be new to this one, if you could subscribe to the station, it is sincerely appreciated. A thumbs up is always appreciated as well. All that being said, let's just kind of jump in and just talk through things. And if I can get through to anybody, that would be wonderful. Most of you guys probably know who I am. That's how you came across this video. Licensed personal trainer. You can email me at the email address below. If you live in the Green Bay or local area and you'd be interested in some personal training sessions, I do run kind of a special introductory package, which is going to be a 1-hour consultation, then 4 1-hour training sessions, only $50 for that. After that, prices will obviously have to go up, but your average cost for a personal trainer throughout the United States is anywhere from $40 to $70. So as an introductory rate for the first few, it is very, very affordable. I've discussed this before, and I'll discuss it again. Goal of the show, just I want to work with average people, who want to improve their health and their bodies and just their overall quality of their fitness and just their overall quality of life. Hopefully, I can make a difference in a few people's lives and have them feeling better and more confident about themselves. All right, so very first show I did on this topic, as far as fitness is concerned, talked about setting goals. And I cannot get through this enough. I'll probably bring it up on literally almost every show that I talk about fitness. I had a phone call with a fitness recruiter who works with a bunch of different gyms and health clubs throughout the United States today. And him and I talked about setting goals for a long time over a phone call. It's got to be something there. You need both those short-term and long-term goals. So for me, I wanted to have visible abs at the age of 40. I thought that'd be really cool. Not a lot of people do that. So for me, that was kind of the long-term goal. That's not something that I can just do overnight, right? Like, got to focus on your diet and you have to focus on, working on your core. So for me, that was a long-term goal, but it has to be complemented with short-term goals, because it's really easy to take those long-term goals and forget about them when you don't see those results in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can see smaller results, but I'm not going to go from a guy bordering between in shape and dad bod into having physical abs or visible abs in 2 weeks. It's not realistic, right? So you got to have both short-term goals and long-term goals. So you have to know what is a motivating factor for you. So some people could be pictures. You could weigh yourself and set a pounds goal. You can, if you really want to get more detailed, you can measure your body fat percentage. These are all measurable actions, things that you can record with numbers and that you can actually see the results if you got them or if you didn't get them. I've literally never met a person who's successful with their fitness that doesn't have some version of goals, at least sporadically. Some people might, it might be something like signing up to run a 10K or a half marathon, or I want to be able to bench press 300 pounds. Get yourself some measurable goals, and success is going to be a lot easier to achieve because you have an end point of what you're at least trying to get to, so you know if you're getting there and you're accomplishing things. All right. More than anything, and for a lot of people, me included, being cognizant of your diet is going to be the biggest difference. There's, a lot of sayings around, how it starts in the kitchen when it comes to actually, cutting down on that little spare tire that a lot of people get. Number one thing, guys, try to eliminate soda and beer from your diet. Hard liquor is going to have fewer calories than beer, especially if you're drinking like good quality beer, not crappy light beer. And soda is just empty calories. So if you think about it, according to dietary guidelines, people need, there's different calorie allotments per day. And for women, it's going to range between 1,600 and 2,400, depending on your size. Men will range between 2,000 and 3,000. Like for somebody that maybe drinks like 2 full flavor Mountain Dews every single day, and you're looking, upwards, it's somewhere between 300 and 400 calories. Think about the percentage of your diet that is and how you get literally no nutritional value out of that. And diet soda will be better from a calorific I can't talk today. Diet soda will be better for calories. It's still not good for you, but these are completely empty calories that will do nothing for keeping you full or anything like that. Try to eliminate soda and beer from your diet as much as possible. Now, do you have to completely eliminate things? No, but that depends on who you are as far as discipline goes. For me, I like soda, but I'm cool drinking 1 or 2 Diet Cokes per week, maybe if I go out for lunch or out for dinner or something like that. Like, it doesn't start a downward spiral for me. Some people, it might. They have one, and then one turns into 2 or 3 a day. So know who you are and know what your triggers are for going down those slippery slopes. And we all have certain things that we're going to be better and worse about, but you really got to get to know yourself. Start counting your calories. So calorie awareness is going to be a big one. Now, again, this is where you have to know yourself a little bit. For me, I can track those things pretty well in my head. So I don't need to write them down. I'm also not actively trying to lose physical pounds anymore. I'm actually trying to probably consume more calories so I can start putting muscle mass back on. Because when you lose 30 pounds in a year, it's not all just fat. Definitely lost some muscle mass this year, and I want to start putting, some of that back on my shoulders, chest, and arms. So for me specifically, I know I can track those things in my head pretty well because I'm kind of a stats and number nerd. But if that is something that you struggle with, you might want to start taking a daily log, or at least a general idea of writing down the bigger things that you eat throughout the day and figuring out what those things were and where you can eliminate a lot of those calories. I got a Quick Trip right by my house, and if you're not in Wisconsin, Quick Trip is a set of gas stations, and they got these awesome donuts. These are what they're called, old-fashioned donuts around there. And there was a lot of Saturdays I'd go pick up a 6-pack, eat 2 in the morning, and maybe snack on one later that day, and then maybe do the same thing the next day. Having to really look at myself in the mirror when you looked at each of those is about 350 calories. So if you eat 3 of those in a day, I mean, that's upwards of about 40% of my calorie intake for the day with no nutritional value. They don't really make you full. They taste great. Don't get me wrong. They taste fantastic. But that was just something I'm like, dude, you can't do this. You got to at least cut this out of your diet almost completely. Maybe spoil yourself, once every couple months or something like that. But it is just wasted calories, and it's nothing but a fat add to your mid-corn section. Start tracking those calories, guys. Again, you got to know for yourself if you can track it in your mind and get a general idea, or if you actually need to write it down. Okay. Again, everybody's going to be a little bit different when it comes to their diet, their health, and their fitness. But for me, I'm not a big believer in like specific diets, whether it be keto, no carbs, et cetera, whatever they might be. For me, it's all about making lifestyle choices. One, it's so much easier for me. Like, I don't feel the need to, I have to completely eliminate this from my diet. But that's going to be to each its own. You need to know who you are as a person and what you're going to be capable of doing and what's going to work for you. For me, just starting to eat healthy foods and playing around with other healthy foods. Like, what can you stomach eating? Like, cottage cheese has been a nice snack for me because I can consume a very low amount of calories, but get rid of that grumbling tummy feeling that you guys all know about, where you're feeling really, really hungry. And it's so easy to reach into the pantry and grab a bag of chips. And next thing you know, you've consumed 600 calories in Doritos to get that same thing that I can get from maybe 100 to 150 calories of cottage cheese. So start playing around with healthier foods. If you don't know what's healthy and what isn't, the internet's your friend, my friends. You can Google any of these things. You can start reading on it, but start really, playing around with foods that you know are good for you and what will you actually eat. I think kale tastes like ass. I'm not going to eat it. So you want to know what? I don't even bother trying to convince myself that that's something I'm going to put into my diet. Be strong at the store. And what I mean by this one specifically is, again, maybe you're a little bit different. If I have bad food in my house, I am not strong enough not to eat it. I'm just not. So I can be strong at the store, walk into the grocery store all motivated, not buying sweets, not buying salty snacks like bag of chips after bag of chips, not buying soda. Really easy to be strong at the store. And so once that stuff's not in your house, like if it's 8:30 at night and your tummy's rumbling a little bit. You want a little bit of a late night snack. If there's a bag of Doritos in my house or a bag of chips and salsa, man, I'm going to dive right into that thing. If there's donuts or ice cream, I'm going to dive right into those things. But if I don't have them in my house, I can't eat it. I'm not going to get in the store and I'm not going to get in my car and go to the store at 9 o'clock at night. That's crazy town. No way. However, it's easy to be strong at the store, at least in my opinion. Again, everybody's going to be different on this one. Cut back on sweets. You guys, I'm more of a salty snack guy. It's a lot easier for me to put down a piece of cake than it is to put down a bag of tortilla chips if I got a nice salsa to go with it. But cutting back on sweets is going to be a big one. A lot of calories, nothing good for you in there. Taste great. I understand they taste great. And I'm not saying completely eliminate for your diet, like you can't have sugar and sweets ever again. Just you're going to have to cut back. Maybe do something like do no desserts for a month, just so you kind of can work on not having it as a part of your regular rotation. Because for me, times when I've slipped throughout my life, like I kind of just like convince myself it's okay to eat one sweet thing per night. Like it's okay to have a bowl of ice cream at the end of the night. It's okay to have a cookie every single night. Just cut it out for 2 weeks, a month or something like that. And then I think like at least in your brain, you'll start realizing you don't need that. And you'll also start feeling better. And maybe that will become a little bit more addicting to you. This one's important. If there's one thing I could urge people out there to do is really self-reflect on your relationship with food. And I know that sounds silly, like I have a relationship with food, but we kind of do. Like, what I mean by that is, do you eat when you're bored? Be more cognizant of that. And it doesn't mean you're going to be able to just stop doing it. But if you really recognize that this is one of your issues, when you eat when you're bored, when you're lonely, when you're upset or anything like that, it's going to be easier to eliminate it if you at least admit that it's a problem. And are you somebody that if you're with a friend or a family member and you try to order something healthy, they try to talk you out of it because they don't want to feel like a fat ass because they're going to order, 3 burgers and 180,000 calories and fries, and then you try to order a side salad instead? They talk you out of it. If that's an issue with you and you cave into the peer pressure, recognize that. Don't let other people take you down just because they don't want to feel bad about themselves. Be the good example on this one. I kind of already talked through that Quick Trip donut example, so we don't need to go through it again, but that was a big one for me. Like, think about that. That is, if I eat those 6 donuts, that is like 1 day's worth of calories for the weekend. And that was something I was doing twice a month. It's a really easy thing to eliminate from my diet. Oh, do I miss it? Hell yeah, I miss it. I love those Quick Trip old-fashioned donuts. Give me the vanilla ones. They are amazing. But you got to kick it out, man. If you really are serious about things like that, you got to get rid of them. There is nobody that can be disciplined for you. Whether you actually pay for a personal trainer, you're in relationship with somebody who's a fitness expert, you got friends or family that are fitness, and they try to rub it off on you. Nobody can be disciplined but you, which is kind of also a nice thing because it's up to you. You're not relying on anybody else. It is really just up to you if you want to start kicking those things out of your diet and really focusing on eating things that are healthier for you. It's hard to be strong. I woke up today and I had a hankering for Chipotle. And I really, really, really thought I was going to hop in my SUV and drive across to the other side of town to grab Chipotle. And when I grab myself a burrito, I'm grabbing chips to go along with it. That's about 1,500, calories right there. But it's totally worth it because it's so delicious. However, I went the smart route today. Cooked up a piece of tilapia, threw in some veggies, and then had a little brown rice to go with it. Those things were all in my house. I could also appeal to the lazy side of me. I didn't have to run across town to go to Chipotle. But having the discipline to do that more often than the flip side of it, I mean, it's a small thing, but it's a major thing. All right, guys, next thing up, just start running and walking. Like, let's not overcomplicate things. Like, you can put on a pair of tennis shoes. You can hops outside your house. You can take a short little walk. If you have a dog, take your dog for more walks. Take your dog running if he's a younger dog. If you and they like to run and things like that. Like, if you just start running, the calories will literally fall off. So I took a 5-mile run yesterday, or 2 days ago. And if you check the calories that you lose, again, it's not an exact science when you're using a running app, but it should give you a general idea. 5-mile run for a guy my size, about 900 to 1,000 calories. It's not just what you lose while you're running, though. The bump that your metabolism takes, courtesy of that run, you're losing calories the rest of the day, too. This is not like, it's not just the 45 minutes you spend running that 5 miles. It is the rest of the day. Calories will literally the pounds will just fall off. And if you don't want to run, obviously there's a million other workout classes you can take. You can run over to the gym, you can get on the elliptical machine. You want to join CrossFit or do any of those things, but really start up the what's the word I'm looking for? The cardio. Find some cardio you can deal with. It could be swimming. But I mean, even like a simple walk. Like today, I had a brief break between work, wanting to do this, and then going to work tonight as well. And, I'm just looking at my dog, knowing I have to leave him alone tonight. Pop him outside, took a 1.75-mile walk. I believe at the end of it, it says I lost between 250 and 300 calories. The dog's happy. I got stretched out instead of just sitting on the couch or things like that. Just start walking and running. There's no reason you can't take a walk on a daily basis. Whether this might be over your lunch break at work, after dinner, it's a great thing to do with, with your family or your loved ones or your significant other or whatever it might be. Maybe you get your significant other walking as well. If that's not a thing that they're used to doing, they start looking better. You start looking better. Everybody's feeling more confident with themselves. Just start running and walking. I mean, either one of them. If you can do the running, that is great. But even if it's just starting to take walks on a regular basis, this can be something you can do for both leisure and fitness, and throw on a podcast, throw on some music, whatever it is you like doing. When you got a free half hour, pop outside, walk around the block. Just even then, like getting your blood flowing might make you more motivated later in the day to go get a real workout in. All right, so let's talk about some of the little things. So one point I'll bring up is when you start watching like fitness videos online, and if you hire a personal trainer and do any of these things, there's a lot of very optimal ways to lose weight. However, they're not always things that you're realistically going to do. Like if you want to hire a personal trainer, that's great, but not everybody can afford that. It's just the way things are. There are plenty of people out there right now. 75% of the United States lives paycheck to paycheck. So hiring a personal trainer is kind of unrealistic for them. Even joining like a really nice gym might be something they might struggle to put it in their budget. So this isn't like a bragging point. I'm just kind of a matter of fact. Like I lost the vast majority of this weight without going to the gym. I have not stepped foot into a gym since COVID started. Now I am going to start going back this week, but I brought that up. And there's a million things you can do around your house that are going to be more advantageous to your time. Because I think for like busy adults specifically, people my age who have young kids and your kids are busy with other events, it can be difficult to find even, 60 to 90 minutes to get to the gym. Completely understand that. There are things that you can do around your house that will help. I already brought up kind of the example of just, you got 15 minutes, go walk a mile real quick. I mean, as opposed to sitting down and throwing on a show or scrolling through your phone. Hell, you can scroll on your phone while you're walking. Just, look out for traffic too while you do it. But some of the little things that I'm going to talk about are just a little change in reflection of what you do. And so I'll just use these two examples. Again, these exact examples probably aren't going to be perfect for you, but I brought my kids to Bay Beach 2 weekends ago, and they wanted to go on the kid swings, which, guessing based on the line and how long the ride takes, figured I had about 20 to 30 minutes before I needed to be at the outside of the exit ready to get them when the ride was over. So there's two things you can do, right? Like one, you can plop your ass down on a bench, maybe grab some cotton candy or something like that and do absolutely nothing. For me, just kind of started doing some people watching, walk around the park for a little bit. I put on my my running walking tracker just to see what happens. So as opposed to grabbing a Slurpee and cotton candy and sitting down there and throwing 600 calories down your gullet while you wait 20 or 30 minutes for your kids, just take a little 1 mile walk around the park. Stay close enough that you can keep your eye on them if you need to be, depending on how old or how young they are, whatever the situation might be. Lose 100 calories as opposed to putting on 500 calories. I didn't need to consume ice cream or cotton candy right then. It was really easy just to kind of walk around. A couple days ago, I brought my daughter to the park while she's running around playing. Usually I play with her for a little bit and then she kind of does her own thing. I was just doing pull-ups and dips on the bars that are there. You might look a little bit silly to people watching, but at the same time, there are people like, man, I kind of wish that I would get off my phone and go do that instead. You got something right there. You might as well get some work done while you're just killing time as opposed to just constantly staring at your phone. And for the record, I play on my phone a ton as well. So I'm not saying like you can't just be looking at your phone, but when you got a time like that, do some little things. Like those little things will really add up over time. It'll also like change your mindset, which is big because for a lot of us, it's not that we don't know what to do. It's that life and, back issues and knee issues, they get in the way and we fall out of the habits that we develop. And then we're bad for months or even years at a time. Kind of mentioned this earlier, but don't let loved ones, coworkers, etc., friends shame you because they're jealous. You know, when you say, I got to get to the gym or I got to go running before we go out tonight. Oh, just skip it, just skip it, just skip it. That's because they don't want to do those things. And quite frankly, it's a lot easier. It's like the human condition more often than not is for people just to want to bring you down to their level. You know, if you, you live at home with your significant other and you guys want to watch, watch your show at the end of the night or whatever, if you're down on the ground doing crunches while they're sitting there, don't let them tell you, oh, I feel weird with you down there. I feel like I have to do something. Well, then come down here and do it with me, as opposed to just sitting on the couch and playing on your phone as we watch our show. Come down here, lay on the floor. Let's do crunches for 30 minutes while we watch our show. And then for the last 30 minutes before bed, I'll sit up on the couch with you. Make some compromises like that. It's really, really easy to be persuaded by the people you live with or, people you might be in a relationship with or whatever it might be, because they don't want to feel the need to do it. Be the good influence. Have them come with you. Just a couple of examples. I'm a big runner, and a lot of people, you won't like it. Other ways to get the calories just to fall off, the elliptical machine. The elliptical machine is great because it's super easy on your joints and your limbs. Like for a guy my age, I can't run every day. My knees and ankles will really start hurting if I try to push it too much. But the elliptical, calories fall off at a pretty similar rate to when you're running, but it's a lot easier on your joints and stuff like that. Now, I can't elliptical outside, and a nice day I want to get outside. But if you're at the gym, it is a really stressless way to lose calories very, very fast. Things that you might want to do. Get Netflix or Amazon Prime on your phone, guys, and just throw on a show. For me, if I'm doing the elliptical, but I'm watching something that I'm into, like I don't even notice I'm working out. So, to each his own, maybe you want to throw on a podcast or whatever it might be. But if you put something on that's entertaining to you, you'll barely even notice you're doing the elliptical. If you got the money, get one of those bad boys in your basement and do that every night after dinner before bed when you wake up in the morning. Even if you don't have these things, there's plenty of little things you can do around your house because time is a big issue. I know for people my age, busy working, kids and stuff like that. You can do jumping jacks. I know that's not one that we do a very often basis, but just sit around today, get up and do 200 jumping jacks and tell me that your heart rate isn't up when you're done with that. Do some punches. You can see it on some of those, commercials I have these days, like the guy in the mirror working out. I got a punching bag down in my basement. Really go to town on your punching bag for 2 minutes and tell me you're not absolutely gassed when you're done with it. The other thing that I would encourage people to look into is fasting. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I am not an expert on fasting, nor do I have the discipline to do it. I've watched a bunch of videos on fasting lately. It's really kind of an interesting concept when it comes to losing weight and what your body does if you deprive it of food for 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, etc. Now, I can't do it. Not that I can't. I don't have the discipline to do it. I've told myself I was going to do it a couple times. By lunchtime, I don't have the discipline to keep going. I'm too hungry. I got to get some food in my tummy. I just can't do it. But for those of you who maybe don't enjoy exercise as much, but maybe you're a little bit more disciplined with food, check it out. Learn about it a little bit. I'm not going to be the expert on it, but I would encourage you guys to just hop on YouTube or Google, read about it or watch about it. It's really, really interesting what your body does if you have the discipline to follow through with it. I don't. It's not for me. But I would encourage it for people who do. It's just not something that I have the strength to do. All right, this one's going to be a little bit more for the fellas out there. For any of the ladies listening, you can let me know if you agree or disagree. So the term dad bod came out, whatever it was, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. But and you'll listen to a lot of women will say, oh, I like dad bod. Take that with a grain of salt, guys. And what I mean by that is I don't necessarily think they prefer dad bod more often than not. What they oftentimes mean is they prefer the personality of men who have dad bod, which I can see. Sometimes men who are really into fitness can be douchebags. I can understand that. So it's generally more the idea and the personality that goes with the men with dad bod, but also like the idea that he'll go have a burger and a beer with him and he's not eating, salads and, drinking water and stuff like that. The flip side of that is I've read a couple studies on this, that muscle groups that women find most attractive. These are per studies. For any ladies listening, if you disagree, that could be your personal preference, but these are for, people being interviewed on the subject. The number 1 and number 3 muscle groups are abs and obliques. And again, I'm up here in the upper Midwest. We are not the fittest portion of the United States. You know how men put on weight. We tend to get it all right here in our guts. You really want to separate yourself from the pack, start working on your core and your midsection because, whether it be if you're in a committed relationship, and your wife or girlfriend or your boyfriend or husband is really going to start liking that. Trust me, they're going to enjoy it. Or if you're on the single market, it's going to be nothing but good things for you. So you can have that dad gut. The dad gut is really prevalent around here. Having had versions of it myself, I understand how it happens. However, most men, I mean, most might be a stretch. A lot of men, when they go to the gym, they want to focus on being strong. So they want to focus on weightlifting, getting stronger arms and shoulders and back muscles and everything like that. And by no means am I telling you not to do your weightlifting, fellas. You should absolutely do those. However, put an extra onus on cardio this year, whether it's running, ellipticals, swimming, CrossFit, any kind of Zoom class you might want to take or anything like that. But focus on the cardio a little bit extra. I know for me, my goal this year was to just get a lot skinnier. And I know I've lost a lot of muscle mass up here and I miss it. I can get that back. But I really wanted to focus on the core and focus on the abs. And another thing, it's going to be really good for your knee and back problems, especially back problems. Back problems are something I've habitually struggled with. I am far from alone in this matter. I'm sure half of you guys listening to this have back problems from time to time. Lose that weight around the gut, and it will be amazing for your lower back. I was someone who was struggling with back problems probably once a month. I mean, debilitating, can barely sit still for 4 days, 5 days and stuff like that, like common. Since I've dropped the weight, I've had back problems twice in the last year. And both times it came in doing the same thing. I took a really, really long bike ride. And maybe I'm just not in that specific shape. Maybe I need some of those shorts. Maybe I need a new seat. But whatever it was, both long bike rides kind of forced me into back issues. So again, I can't guarantee that was the problem, but it would be a surprise if it wasn't. So the other thing about getting thinner, guys, man, that confidence. I had a long conversation with my sister about this a couple of years ago, and she tried to tell me that for her it didn't make a difference. Dad bod, rip bod, there wasn't a thing that she really cared about that much. But at the end of the conversation, Christy said to me, and Christy, if you're listening, you probably remember this one. She's like, I will say this though. There is nothing that can replace the confidence for somebody that really, really enjoys how it is that they look and they feel comfortable in their body. She's like, that is irreplaceable. So there is something to be said for that. Okay, rethinking your hobbies, folks. So as a Midwesterner, our culture up here is way too predicated around eating and drinking. Like, I know not as much people in my personal life, but having enough conversations based around this. Like, what do you like to do for fun? I don't know. I like to go out. So eating and drinking. Get some more hobbies, okay? There's a million different things you can do. I've already talked about walking. Join a workout class. I know for like a lot of guys my age, we don't do it, but back in high school and college, we'd play pickup basketball all the time. Prior to the pandemic, I had joined a basketball league. I was going to the Y a couple times a week to play pickup basketball. That may not be for you. I love it. So I hadn't done that in forever. Playing basketball, like playing full court basketball, is a great workout. And like I got my buddy Jeremy who is saying like he doesn't love working out or going to the gym and stuff like that, but he loves playing basketball. And he's like, for me, I don't even feel like I'm working out. I just feel like I'm playing ball. So that could be something for you. I love hiking. Start hiking. Instead of like going to a bar on Saturdays and eating nachos and drinking beer, like take a hike. You might like it. It's fun. Get a bike if you don't already have one. Some of you guys like golf. I haven't golfed in a few years, but I enjoy golf. A lot of times for me, because I don't golf a lot, I like to use a cart so I can drink beer with the fellas and stuff like that. But it's a pretty good workout to go play 18 holes with no cart. There's a ton of different fitness classes out there. You might find out that you like some of them. Got to experiment. Figure out what's good for you. What's good for me may not be good for you. Sign up for an event like a Tough Mudder, a 10K, etc. If you want to get motivated to get into shape, and not everybody's brain works like this, but like I haven't done this in a while, but when I did Tough Mudder 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, or whatever it was, it's like $150 to sign up. Once you spend that money and you know you're going to do it, you got other people that are signed up with you, you are going to feel pressured almost. And a lot of this is going to be self-pressure, but that's what's going to work in order to get into better shape to do things like this. So sign up for events like that. My ex, she did a 5K a month for an entire year. I know she really thought that was great for her. I know my friend Emily, then, knowing that it worked really well for her, signed up, kind of did the same thing. Sign up for these events because it's going to force you to keep yourself in shape. Maybe you've never done yoga. I've only done yoga twice in my life. I didn't like it. I know it would be great for me. It's not one that to me, that feels like work. I like running. A lot of people hate it. So for me to hop outside and go running is no big deal. For you, it could be yoga. But figure out what's best for you. There's a lot of different options. Start rethinking about these hobbies that you have in your life and start making things like this, the way that you set your Saturday. Set your Saturday around going to the gym and playing basketball for 2 hours instead of day drinking. Now, don't get me wrong, day drinking is fun. It's okay to do that sometimes, but there's plenty of other hobbies that we have that could be advantageous for how healthy you feel. So that's it. Again, I wasn't going to come on here today and tell you guys I had all these magic tricks for how you can lose weight really quickly. I honestly feel like most of you guys, you know the answers. You know what you need to do in order to get into better shape. A lot of this stuff is mental more than anything. Having been in really good shape and out of shape and in good shape and out of shape, like it's a mental block more than anything. We get out of our routine and we start, again, for me, back problems was always a big one. That was the other thing about working on my core this year is eliminating back problems. I no longer fall out of habit of working out on a regular basis. I mean, some of those back problems I would have, I couldn't run for 2 weeks, which means I probably also couldn't go to the gym and lift for 2 weeks. Then those 2 weeks are up. And, there is possible, maybe you really feel like, oh, I need to work out. There's other possibility, having done this, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that after not working out for 2 weeks, 2 weeks turns into 2 months, turns into 6 months. Been there, done that a bunch of different times. So that's just a few ideas. Just wanted to run through those things with a few of you guys. I wish you all the best of luck, and have a good day. Click that thumbs up button if you could.